Muy buenos días.
Buenos días.
Estamos aquí con Teressa Valla.
Sí.
Okay.
Sí, perfecto.
She's from New York, originally from Vermont, and is an artist. And I have to say that I don't know if artist is correct, because you do photography, you do painting, you do sculpture. You have done costume for the New York Ballet. So
It's art. Yeah, an artist.
Artist. Absolutely.
Right.
So, how does an artist from New York that travel all around the world get to know us and Lanzarote?
Well, as you mentioned, I do live in New York, and we have usually very cold, gray winters. And I happen to really need a lot of sun. And so I look for opportunities to be out of New York in the spring or late winter. And I saw this opportunity on a global website for art communities called Res Artiste.
Absolutely.
And many artists think that opportunities just come to them or come to me, but I filled out the application.
Very good.
I applied, I spent the time doing the research, and I thought, wow, look at the sunlight. And I happen to love the color, the white, and the simplicity and the water. So it appealed to me. So I'm very happy to be here. I must say, the transition was difficult for me. I think it's a great learning experience when you push yourself from one environment to another, even though it can be painful. Yeah.
Yeah, it's completely different.
Right.
We agree about that.
This is what you actually want, but you don't always know how you're going to respond.
Yes.
But this is okay.
A risk.
It's a risk, right?
It's a risk.
Right.
So you have you are very active as an artist. You have done exhibition, lecture. You received quite a lot of awards and in many different countries. You have been around America, Europe, Asia. So you are really a global artist. And what's this international experience gave it to you or teach you? Or what's the feeling?
I gave this question some thought. It's the common humanity that as an artist, you can speak to people globally through your creative process. And it doesn't need to be necessarily words. It can be, the visual arts. And to me, it's just amazing. And when people say, for example, I'm in Japan or in Brazil, and you have different people looking at similar bodies of work, the responses can be very similar or very different.
Yeah.
And I'm very interested in that communication. And I very often just sit, I kind of stay quiet, and I observe and I listen, and it's very beautiful. I kind of live for that, to people's hearts being touched.
Amazing. You received a very prestigious award from the pollok-krasner Foundation.
That's true, yeah.
Tell us about this experience.
Well, I received the award when I really needed it. It's amazing how, like even coming here, I really needed to leave New York. I needed to have some quiet. I needed that grant to finish a body of work. It's a rigorous process. The application is pages and pages, and your references, and you present your new work, and it's a very thorough screening process. And I remember it was probably like a Friday afternoon, late in the afternoon, I received a phone call from the director of the foundation announcing the award. And I basically was not in tears, but I just said, beside my, there's no words for the gratitude. Very, very helpful. I mean, beyond helpful. It also just solidifies what you're doing. Like, you believe in what you're doing, you want to keep going. You have to be humble enough to say, I really need some support. And then you're going to be very critically looked at. So you have to be ready for that. And then when you receive the award, it's this affirmation, like, I have to keep working because people believe in me.
Absolutely.
I mean, I could kind of cry.
Amazing.
Sometimes sometimes I keep going because I'm sorry, I'm getting so upset.
That's nice because you
people,
really feel it.
Yeah, because people are supporting me. I'm like, I have to. Even when I came here, someone said, if it's too difficult, you don't have to stay. I said, no, I have to stay. I'm being supported. I have to keep working. So it's very touching.
Teresa, I think, as you said before, is the risk that you fail, but the opportunity that you have to give to yourself.
Right.
So
It's complicated. You don't really know how you're going to respond, but you do know that good work usually comes out of it. And the experience stays with you for a lifetime. It's not just now. It goes forward. The light, the calm. For example, if I'm in New York and I'm hearing ambulances and it's noisy or it's been gray for days, I can then reflect on what it was like on this island, Lanzarote, and bring up those emotions and go into that space and create from there. So it's very deeply emotional. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You are also very active in your own country, especially in New York, where you live. You had different exhibition, installation. You have a permanent collection in the Art Museum of Modern Art. You do workshop, lecture, and as we told before, that you made costume for the New York Ballet. That is, for me, is incredible. That's beautiful. I think. I don't know how was the experience, but I can imagine that has to be amazing because you stay there with the dancer.
Just to clarify, I worked in the costume shop and I worked more with the fabrics.
Okay.
So, and I worked in the Brandenburg Concerto Ballet and the Firebird Ballet.
I see.
So, so I worked in the costuming area. So you recreate these ballets.
Fantastic.
Right.
So tell me what a city as New York can give to an artist.
Well, it's so vast in its creative opportunities. It's just you can start as a young artist there and absorb so many different creative approaches. It pushes you to learn about yourself. You can grow in New York. It's also extremely challenging. It's not for the faint of heart. You must, like I used to say, if you make one mistake, it's like 5 mistakes someplace else. You must stay on top of what you're doing. But the range, you can be an experimental artist, you can be more classically based, you can be at any point in your life, from young to elderly. There's so much to absorb there. And then you have people from all over the world. When I first went to New York, it was really about the people. Like, I'm gonna meet all these amazing different people with these different viewpoints. That's, the city's, it's steel and architecture and all this beauty. It's beautiful. It's man-made, but you have the human factor in New York. Then you have the 5 boroughs. So some of my best experiences were working as a visiting artist in the boroughs, bringing art into communities, and again watching people come alive when whether they're painting or doing photography or working on a mural or just observing this thing called art and enriching their lives. It's wonderful. Now, I never thought I would be doing that. Someone just mentioned it to me one day, a fellow artist. She probably saw this puzzled look on my face. I said, I don't know what to do. I need to be working, and I really don't know what to do. And she suggested working as a visiting artist. So artists help each other also. When you least expect, someone gives you gives you a little bit of direction that then 20 years later you're still on that's part of your path.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And the other thing about New York is, I've done many things, but it's not all at the same time. So I've been in New York for about 40 years. And I actually am kind of almost underground at this point. I'm not so public. But when I was in my 20s and 30s, I was more in different communities, like the Lower East Side, the East Village. The communities shift, the neighborhoods shift. So it's quite fascinating because the art communities shift and you're growing as an artist. So you float in and out. Sometimes you need more time to develop. You're not ready to go back into the community, but you're still with it. It's very complicated, but it's so fluid. It's very fluid.
It's always a new opportunity, as you say.
There's always new opportunities, and the communities change. So it was in Soho when I moved to New York. Then it went to the East Village. Then it was in Williamsburg and Chelsea. Now it's in Bushwick and Chelsea, and the East Village is coming up again. And Soho is kind of almost, it has different concerns now. So you float around with that, and there's a different aesthetic and different neighborhoods at different decades at different times. So you're floating in fluid, finding your way.
You told me the other day, then we go on with the question. You told me the other day that when you go to visit a museum in New York, you see a lot of people inside.
Right.
So people love art.
Right. I mean, I was there with a friend, a photographer, just a month ago, and I think it was like a Saturday night, and the Metropolitan Museum of Art was just packed. It was just, the lines were so long, and it was beautiful. And I just sat there, I was overwhelmed with the people. And then I just said, this is fantastic. People from all over the world come to look at great art, and it's stronger than ever. Art is alive, painting is alive. The arts, whether it's photography or multimedia or dance or culture, is strong. It's strong.
It's so good to hear that. And you are holding around 5-6 exhibitions per year. How you manage to work so hard?
Well, I just keep working. I just keep working, and then you have work from before. Usually, there's more work being made than exhibited. I have a lot of work I've never exhibited. And sometimes I'll see an opportunity, a friend might mention it, or a nonprofit mentions it, or a group of artists are putting an exhibit together, and I'll say, okay, let me see what I have.
And you are going to Athens now to do something.
Yeah, I just was on emailing. I'm going to bring images from Lanzarote to Athens.
Amazing.
Isn't it amazing?
We love that. We love that.
I'm going to give it credit, Lanzarote.
Fantastic.
It's called Man on the Moon exhibit, and it's in Athens project space. And an artist I met at an art residency maybe 7 years ago now is working with this gallery and contacted me about an exhibit called Man on the Moon, because we're celebrating the first Louis Armstrong Man on the Moon walk 50 years ago. So this landscape and this island, which is so volcanic, Lanzarote,
Yes.
is perfect
Absolutely.
for the next phase of my journey. And how does that happen?
Incredible.
You know?
Yeah.
I know how that happens. It's like, it's the mystery.
Energy.
It's the mystery
Yes.
that we live in.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. As you told before, there is a huge contrast between New York City and the quietness and the peace of Lanzarote. What surprised you more of Lanzarote?
Oh, I like the people. You know, when I go, well, first, most of the people I met are basically not from here, although I did meet people from Lanzarote, and not that one is more favored than the other, but it's that this island is so influenced by Cesar Manrique.
Yes.
An architect, a person who was very interested in nature, and also a painter, and how an artist influenced the development of this island and influenced the everyday life with suggesting the beautiful white low-story residences to keep the island beautiful and very approachable. So correct me if I'm wrong, most buildings are no more than 2 stories high.
Yes.
Most. I've seen
most of them, apart one.
Yeah,
yes.
I see a few.
Someone, but
let's say
so
95.
Yes.
Let's say 98%, which is huge, and it's approachable. So you don't have these huge, glamorous buildings. You have these beautiful, approachable buildings, and it's calm because you have this white color with blue or green. And that's what one of the surprised me. And then, if you think the big picture, an artist really helped this island come alive. And people from all over the world come here to live.
It's true.
To live, to make
Absolutely.
it their home.
Yes.
A home. That's a very, very important word for me, that they come here to settle. And then you have people coming and going. But I hear many people that come back.
A lot of them.
That's a very phenomenal point. It's not just a holiday, I'm coming once. They really want to return. They plan on coming again, and then they plan on buying a place here or having a place that they come each year. They make it part of their life.
Absolutely.
So the island becomes part of a global life, lively life for people. So I think that's really, and then the landscape's spectacular. At first I go in, I'm very interested in the land and the geology, and it's just gorgeous. And then how people have made a life with such a volcanic island.
Hard job.
Yeah, and the ingenuity of creating plants behind those. They have there are these curved walls.
Yeah.
La
heria.
What's it called?
Heria.
And when the moisture comes in the air, when it hits the wall, it drops onto the plants. So the plants get some
water.
Some water.
Yeah.
Because there's very, very, very little water on the even rainfall. And
so we can have great wine.
Great wine.
Absolutely.
Which I did taste. And there's no clear water on the island. There's no streams, rivers, lakes, nada.
No, nada de eso.
So that's fascinating. Yeah, it's a very, very dry island. It's just, it's very beautiful.
So it's nice to hear that you could see that it's true. There is a lot of people from all around the world that is coming here, and is part of their life because they think that Lanzarote is their house, home more than house. So it's absolutely true. What you saw it in 1 month, and so it is amazing the vision that you had, because it's absolutely true.
Yeah, I like to go and I go to the local restaurant and I just sit and talk to people. They probably think maybe I'm a little nosy, but I just listen to. I'm like, where you're from? Why did you come here? Oh, you have a family.
And you told me something. What was the other day? about holidays, because in the United States really you don't have this kind of idea of holiday, or you don't really have holidays, or you have really short holidays. Tell me about the difference that you see here and what you have in the United States, because it's totally different.
Yeah, it's a point of view. Well, we have vacation in America, obviously, but it's like here there's people come with this viewpoint, I am here to relax and enjoy myself, and I have planned this for the year, and I chose to come here because I want specific things like sunshine, the incredible beaches, very relaxed environment. In America, I mean, we take time off, but I don't think it's the same letting go, the freedom of just really, really, really relaxing for an extended period of time. I mean, we do take vacations, but there's a different level of relaxation. Yeah.
Do you think there is relaxation
in America? I don't really, I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but I don't really, I don't get that emotion. People say, oh, I went away for a week, but you don't feel like they really, like, what did you do?
Chilled out.
Really chilled out. Yeah, it's just different.
It's different.
I know I don't relax enough there. And being here, I'm going to change my lifestyle. I must take some time off every week.
We give a credit to Lanzarote.
Yes.
Fantastic. Very good. Teresa, thank you to be here in the residence of Nautilus Lanzarote.
Thank you.
We hope to see you again. And thanks for this interview.
Thank you very much for your time.
And we hope to see you again.
Thank you very much. Oh, I'd love to come.
Very good.
Yeah, I'll have to plan that.
Thank you, Teresa.
You're welcome.